All right. Good morning. I hope the levels are okay. It's been a while since I've done this. We will fade out the original soundtrack from Dragon Age Inquisition and take a look at where we're at here. Hello, Guild Wars. I'd like to pretend I haven't been playing you all the frickin' time for like the last couple of weeks, but I totally have. Let's go ahead and get in game. There we go. Hooray. Good morning, everyone. Gail, Epsy, Cattywampus. Hello to you all. And welcome. Yeah, so big couple of weeks for this game. And look at Catty flexing on her turtle, which I guess she got in the Dragon's End meta. There we go. I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit here and we will take a look. Yeah, so really, yeah. Fear my default skin. Do you actually even have a turtle skin? I don't have any turtle skins. I don't know. The turtle gets used about as much as my Springer does. And I actually think I use my Springer more often than I use my turtle. Um, Yeah, that was a big fail in my books right there. But we will try to get through our day without being increasingly negative about Guild Wars. There's a lot to be excited about, and a few things to not be so excited about. Gail, you still don't have the turtle? Wow. Not worth it. Well, no. I mean, the Dragon's End meta, where basically the big part of the unlock is actually one of the better pieces of spectacle this game has ever really produced, and really doubles down on what I think this game does best, which is like the big open world spectacle. And was I enjoyed it. I did it a few times. But if you ask me what have I done more, Dragon's Stand or Dragon's End, and which did I enjoy more, I will tell you I enjoy Dragon's Stand a lot more. Even with that stupid snoot boop and stuff at the end, I just enjoy the lead up on that event. Yeah, you sure do, Gail. Telling us she plays slowly. So, couple of things to weigh in on. If you are catching this on VOD, please feel free to hit up the comments with anything you have to say. Gonna touch on a few things here. What have I been up to? I've actually been playing a lot of Guild Wars for the last few weeks. And I've been playing a lot of Mass Effect for the last couple of weeks. I finished Mass Effect 1. I think I'm about halfway through Mass Effect 2, which I will say has supremely affected my enjoyment of almost any other video game. I've become a real fan of the Mass Effect series. So if you enjoy science fiction and you want some cheap games, they sell the Mass Effect series, all four Mass Effect games and all four Dragon Age games for like $25. I think I got them for, so it was really good. And I also heard that I was responsible for a person or two getting into Elden Ring. But that is that. So I am going to start with. You know what? Let's do some stuff in the background while I chinwag at you all. Let us go and plunder my home instance, which I haven't done for a while I talk. So the first thing to really touch on is going back a bit, and it's that last story patch. And wow, holy shit, I did not enjoy that last story patch. Caddy and I finally did it. I think it was last week or this week. And man, I haven't hated on a patch like that in a long time. That was just, I mean, somebody can speak up if they actually enjoyed that last patch. I'd love to hear it because quite frankly, I was sitting there through the entire thing, and Caddy will attest to this, going, who the hell did they make this for? Like, who actually enjoys this? Not only did I not enjoy the story, and I don't want to hate too much on the people who make the content for this game, because I know it's time intensive and hard, etc. But man, that was maybe some of the least rewarding content I've ever done in an MMO. When you think about everything I had to, all the teleporting around I had to do, I'm sure I spent about 2 gold just in waypoint charges. And then it was just like a walking simulator for most of it. And I really, really did not enjoy that last patch. And if you did, kudos to you. If anybody out there did, I'd love to hear it. But man, that was not my kind of thing. I'm not sure who that was really aimed at, to be honest with you. I'm sure there are some people who kind of appreciated it somewhere, and I'd love to hear what they liked about it. But I haven't had a patch leave me that flat in a very long time in this game. So there was that. I won't go too far into it. I think that a lot of the feedback that's been presented on it already has pretty much echoed my feelings. What I think goes wrong with this game is that sometimes the developers, when they're making content, forget about what is actually good about Guild Wars, and that's its combat system. So there was that. Onwards with the... oh, I don't have any crowbars. Look at that. Crazy. So there was that. I guess the next thing that came out was that patch. That patch, a couple days ago, that balance patch. Wow, I'm not sure what to say about this one. It's been a long time since I've seen a patch that was so varied in what it did well and what it did wrong. There were some things that, coming out of it, I found myself wondering, man, I mean, how much was this actually play tested? And I don't mean by numbers, and I don't mean about the mechanics, or so I do mean about the mechanics. I mean, this wasn't a question of some things being overtuned or undertuned. It was more of a question of the basic functionality of some of the boon application was just. I gotta wonder, are the devs playing the same game as the rest of us at points? And I don't want to say it's all bad, because I spent a couple of hours in game over the last few days, as Caddy will attest, testing things, running numbers, etc. And I just don't know what to say at a couple of points. It's just I was absolutely gobsmacked at a few points about some of them. Some of the good notes from that last patch, though, was holy smokes, did I ever enjoy what they've done to Warrior. The Warrior stuff. Yay for science. Some of the things they did to Warrior in terms of the alacrity and quickness on Berserker and on Bladesworn are really cool. I really enjoyed that. But the absolute massacring of Mirage, I mean, holy smokes. Maybe I'm playing it wrong, but I haven't seen a build spanked like Mirage got spanked in that patch in a very long time. That was a pretty hard beat down for open world Mirage. If you're playing staff Mirage, it is impossible to keep up boons. And that's actually the problem with a few of the changes that they've made, that it's just impossible to keep these boons up. I mean, I fixed Condi Herald. I'm not a Warrior person, and I miss my Mirage. Yeah. Wow, my Mirage is going in mothballs for a while. I mean, I would call it barely viable at this point. Holy smokes. Just, wow. Hard to describe. I mean, I get that the build was OP. I get that it needed to be, slapped down a little, but just in terms of the boon application on it, I just don't even know what to do. She's going to be a Virtuoso or a Crystal Former. Hey, Virtuoso is a really fun spec to play. Particularly for just, if you just want to do like some straight Condi DPS, man, Virtuoso is really fun for that. It's just kind of simple, good, fun, as I've said, I guess, a few times now. So there is that. Yeah, I found the patch to be really strange in a few places and really good in a few others. I was looking forward to the entire thing. Wow, are my bags already packed? For those of you who may know, I spent about, I want to say 3 hours 2 weeks ago going through all of my tunes and cleaning all of their bags, and of course this one's bags are already rat fucked. Had one Virtuoso, now you'll have two. Yeah, I mean, I love Mirage as a concept. I just, the reality of Mirage is just never, has been spotty at best. Anyways, I think the problem probably lies with Confusion and the fact that they keep changing the basics of Confusion over and over. For those of you who are unaware of what we are doing here, we are farming Eternal Ice. There's a little bit of a path you can follow here. Eternal Ice is a pretty good currency in this game if you are building legendaries, which I guess we will talk about in a bit, because your boy lost his shit this week about this game. And I don't think I've been as unhappy with this game as I was with the announcement, one of the announcements in the X-Pack, but I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, back to the balance patch. Really kind of strange. Some really nice highlights. A few real lowlights. And just one of those moments when I question, you know, who's making some of these choices and what are they playing, etc. I'll save you, Caddy, from whatever these are. Yeah, all right. Well, you didn't really need it. Okay. Onwards. So there was that. For those of you in the chat who may have just joined us, welcome. Oh, this guy's becoming a pain. There we go. Yeah. It fundamentally changed a few things. I think one of the problems was I was enjoying some of the things that were going on before that patch that they changed. I actually had a core ranger build that had perma alacrity and was doing some pretty decent damage. You out of there? Yeah, you out. Let's go. Let's go get our stuff. Get our grindy grinders. They seem to be in love with complicating the classes. I'm not sure if it's so much complicating them as... Like, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure that every class has an alacrity build and a quickness build and a straight up DPS build, and they don't want to tie it to the base specs like warrior and ranger were. And that's fine, and I get that, and I think that that's probably for the best. But when it comes to the upkeep of those boons, in some cases, man, it's done in some janky ass ways and just counterintuitive to the actual flow of the class. And, you know, I would get into it, but I'm pretty sure that the devs know what's going on. If every class needs still a buff, or should it be baked in? Well, there's something to be said for the skill of upkeeping a boon, and if what I say about that, and a good example is Tempest, right? Like, Tempest gives its alacrity pulsing as you are doing the overloads, And it actually fits within the rotation if you can manage it, particularly if you're playing, a reactive game. Maybe less so for the instance content, which is a little more predictable than other content that you may play, such as competitive or, even if you're low manning open world stuff, the game is a little more reactive than it is if all you are doing is going to meta events or playing standard encounters that you know exactly how they're going to play out. And if you're playing that kind of game, upkeeping some of these things in places is just really hard. But I mean, it works on Tempest. Does it work on Scrapper now? No. I mean, did they kill Scrapper's quickness generation by making it on combos? I don't know. I haven't played it yet, but that's one of those big ones that I haven't gone through. And then I look at what they're trying to do with Deadeye and stuff like that, and that was some bullshit as well. But does every class need that? I mean, there's something to be said about specifically building your character in order to synergize with others and having multiple options for doing it, and I think that that's probably a very good thing. In fact, I would say it's definitely a really good thing. And being able to say, well, today I just want to, play me DPS, or today I want to play some kind of hybrid build where I'm boon and generating, etc. I think that these are all good options to give us. It's just the upkeep, man, that's just effing crazy. Heal Scrapper is all about combos. Heal Scrapper is, but was quickness Scrapper all about combos? It wasn't, right? Like, quickness Scrapper was all about hitting your gyros off cooldown, basically. Very much the same that Rev was. Hey, by the way, the Rev changes were really good. I like the way that the boon upkeep is working there. I got that working out really, really well this morning. So that at least was a bit of a highlight. So with all that said, I guess we also got an expansion announcement this week, which, well, not an announcement. I guess we got a date and we got some features. And hey, that would have been 100% good news if it weren't for them dropping the ball on the communication or planning of this Relic system, which really left me cold. Anybody who knows me heard me flailing about yesterday and the day before, talking about this Relic system. And specifically speaking, for those of you guys who weren't aware or watching or keeping up with things, I actually forget where to go from here. Oh, right. Yeah, it's up this way. So they are changing the rune system in this game so that the stat bonuses will be your 1 to 6, and then you will get a special proc, which is all currently tied to the runes, or some kind of, proc or special effect or bonus for equipping a quote-unquote relic, which is basically going to be the set bonus that is currently in the runes, and it's going to be separate, which is interesting for Buildcraft. Not going to lie about that. I think it's a fantastic idea. However, those of us with legendary runes have not been really communicated with clearly about the effect of this, because if this invalidates the bonus of my legendary runes, if this basically guts their value, and it very well may, what then? And there was no immediate communication about what the resolution is going to be for those of us who put in a fair bit of time for the legendary runes. If you've made them, you know what I'm talking about. Legendary runes are pretty crazy expensive. So there's a few problems with this relic system. One of them is that it may very well represent a new level of power creep for this game. It may be the fact that we may be seeing more and more powerful versions of these things, and they may become a bit of a power creep. Who knows? If they are, however, just capped like the current ones are, still a couple of issues. And I think the main one comes in about the acquisition of these relics and how, from what we understand, they're going to be tied to content. Like, do X content get Y relic? And anybody who remembers the day of farming dungeons for specific runes like Nightmare runes or Monk runes knows that this may not be, the best choice. This was not a popular thing to do. It didn't feel good to have to run a dungeon a bunch of times just for, a set of runes. It didn't feel good to run content you didn't want to run. And specifically, there are a few places where this actually becomes an issue. But I won't go too far into it because we don't know too many details about it. I am, however, aware that yesterday they put up a forum post saying that people are going to be compensated. I don't like the word compensate, because it really, if we're using the word compensate, it means that I'm probably not going to get the functionality that my runes currently have. Why am I in combat? Oh, I've got to kill this skelk. Kill it for me, catty. Oh, let's draw some more aggro, shall we? They should give a free legendary relic to all people with full legendary runes. Well, here's the thing. If they don't plan a legendary relic, then you can't give one to people, right? I mean, I don't want to doom on this because I realize that there are some ways to work this that within what they've said that are not objectively awful. I could see a scenario where if runes are gained through specific content, the system could read that I already had legendary runes and unlock those for me automatically. Okay, those relics for me automatically. There's a lot of ways that this could go. But when they're using compensation, it sounds like what they're going to do for the people who had legendary armor, multiple sets of legendary armor when the armory launched, and they gave those chests which allowed the selection of a legendary weapon. And that would not work for me. That would really not work for me, because the reality is with the weapons, I have one legendary weapon left to make. And that one is already half made. So if they're going to try and compensate me for this, whoops! Oh, I blew my flight down on my Griffin. That sucks. It's been so long since I've done this farm. But like I say, I'm in a position where I've done every terrestrial legendary weapon except for the longbow. And I am half done the longbow as much as I'm willing to farm End of Dragons content. Like, I want to make the Gen 3 longbow because it looks good on one of my characters. I realize I'm going to have to do a bunch of fishing content in a little bit to do it, which of course doesn't make me happy. If you know me and fishing are not best pals. And, but it really wouldn't have that much value for me. Oh, let's get out of here. We will forget that Eternal Ice right there. Let's see if we can get up. I don't know if I can get up on this thing right now. Oh, no. Oh, burn. All right. I'm going to have to go around here. I just didn't have it. So, you know, what compensation could be is a couple of Black Lion boosters, right? But I expect that compensation will probably be something of value. However, I built them for the specific value that I built the runes for the specific value that they maintain for me. And if I'm losing a bunch of functionality from it, I am really going to be choked at a game that I'm not, you know, always having fun with these days. So there is that. That said, there was a lot in that expansion announcement that I really, really liked. The beta starts later today. Those of you guys who are really getting ready for that, I don't blame you. I think Hammer Holosmith is going to be freaking fun. I think there are some really great things that they announced. I think the weapon proliferation sounds really good. Not exactly sure what we're going to do here. Let's go smack the giant, see if the giant's up. I think that there are some interesting things to go in that expansion. And if you guys have read the expansion and you're psyched about something, I'd love to hear it. The weapon proliferation, so every class getting a new base weapon, that sounds amazing to me. Hopefully filling some of the holes in the classes that are not already there. And I get that there are some people that are upset because, Elementalist didn't get longbow, or Ranger didn't get rifle, or whatever. I get that there are some people upset about the class fantasy aspects of it, but it's nothing but good in terms of the build craft. Let's also be clear that the Relic System is also really good for the build craft. Revenant needed the profession-wide short bow. I think what Rev needed was a one-handed ranged weapon. And I think that the scepter that they're talking about giving it in the proliferation that they're talking about is absolutely fantastic. If that's your new ranged weapon and it's either Condi or Power, I would hope it would be Condi. I think that would be fantastic. Yeah, the scepter to come is really cool. I think short bow Herald could be a lot of fun. Like I say, I'm really stoked for Hammer on Holosmith. I think that could be really fun. Yeah, the hammer on Rev is really funny. They buffed it a couple of patches ago, and it became better, but it's still not. I mean, it's a good power thing, but specifically speaking to Herald, you could use a one-handed option and then roll that shield on the other hand. Really cool. Hopefully I can get... Right now, you're just burned out. Epsy, I couldn't agree with you more. Oh, Ooze is up. Let's kill the Ooze. I think I went through this on a previous stream or in some kind of previous content, but to me, the entire expansion was very old school MMO in terms of how it was retaining and increasing the player time, etc. But it kind of went against a few things that Guild Wars has always, been my game because of. It kind of dumped a few of its kind of, I want to say its basic design spirit, It really introduced a level of grind and embraced a level of grind. End of Dragons, I feel, embraced grind. And really, you just have to look at how hard it is to do all the specialization collections. You have to do a full playthrough of each class in order to do the weapon collection. You had to do all those strikes just to get access to ascended trinkets with the new stats. There were a lot of things wrong with End of Dragons in my world. But I think I've also been pretty clear that I actually thought some of those changes were healthy for the game. Yeah. Why you call yourself such a slow player? Excuse me, I need to cough for a moment. Yeah, I mean, there are people that go through these games at their own pace, and by their own pace, I mean they may have been playing since launch and never made a legendary weapon. Um, they there's nothing wrong with that. I go back to a poll I did a long time ago. I say a long time ago, probably about a year ago, where I asked people about their involvements in strike missions. And, I got 70 or 700 and almost 750 people come back to me on that. And 61% of those people had never done a strike mission. And yet that's what ANET doubled down on. Now, I'm not saying it was the wrong choice, but there is a piece of the player base that will never see giant swaths of the content in this game, I guess is what I'm getting at. Jean Jean, I'm not sure if you are a Jean or a Jean, but welcome to the stream. I'm glad you're here. There are, getting back to what I was saying, there are people in this game who will never touch large parts of the content. There are people in this game who will never play world versus world. No matter how many rewards you throw at them, no matter how many of the beta weekends you give them, whatever carrot you throw in front of them, they will not play world versus world or PvP. You can't get me to play PvP because I don't like the guy I become when I play it, right? It's either however you want to pronounce it. There we go. Thank you. And really, I think it's... Let's go just take part of this event. I think that what End of Dragons did was double down on the whole, and I'll just say legendary or go home, right? The end game became about the legendaries. Now, I'm not saying this was a bad choice, but for those of us who are either burned out on legendary acquisition as I am, or who never saw it as a viable play style, like maybe Gale. I don't know, Gale, if you've made a legendary weapon or not. You're not meeting those players' needs. Now, I'm not here to say that End of Dragons didn't meet like the casual player's needs, but because I think fishing was a very casual thing, and I think it was, I hate using that word, but I kind of have to at this point. I think fishing was a very casual thing, and I think it was about as successful as a system like that could have been. I still have not made or nudging me strongly with a bulldozer to do it. I will say a couple of things about the legendary process. It is in some places really good, in some places it isn't. The legendary acquisition in End of Dragons was not awful. The legendary acquisition for the Gen 1s is actually okay. It's a little bit thematic. In some cases, it lets you really kind of explore the world and provides a really interesting story. And then you get ones in the in the twos. So I'm talking specifically about Chuka and Champawat. I'm talking about Nevermore, which is a really interesting collection. But again, I'll always go back to Chuka and Champawat as probably the best that ANET ever did on legendary acquisition. And then you've got the other side, which is the 2.5s, which really is how much can you grind. I don't think we're actually doing anything productive at this event. I think we will move along with our day. Hey, let's go farm some currencies because we're going to need those in a little bit. Are we clear of combat? We are getting clear of combat. We got to clear out of combat to move, and then we will take a look at chat and everything. Nope, we are... Are we... Okay, good. Am I getting hit again? I swear. This game... Okay. I'm getting out, and we are going to Ember Bay because we are going to gather old school style in Ember Bay. We're going to go get us some stumps. All right. Ember Bay, here we come. One of my holdups is dithering over which ones to do to get the most bang for my limited bucks. My thoughts on legendary weapons is, yeah, you know, pick a weapon that's usable across most classes. Sword is always a good example. Um, the sword options, however, you know, Shining Blade is a really nice skin for a really shitty acquisition, because Shining Blade is a 2.5 that's basically just a material sink. Zap or whatever the bolt, I guess it is, isn't nearly as nice a skin. And the 2.5s, or sorry, the version 3.0, so the Arene legendaries. I mean, I'm not sold on the look of that sword, but the bonus about the 2.5s is you've got all those variants and those skins, which I think it was a really smart play. A really smart play by ArenaNet. Really smart play. So, where are the stumps? I forget. Yeah, it's Guild Wars, so of course we're looking for stumps. Wow, this is crazy. Bad generation of this map for us. So yeah, you know, maximizing it. Staff is always a good one. I made the Bifrost. You know, the Gen 1s are easiest to make. They really are. There's still a bit of a material sink. There's one step in them where you're literally just burning a lot of your wealth, but it's not nearly as bad in terms of a material sink as some of the other ones. So if you want to, you know, if you want to do it on the cheap, make a Gen 1. If you want the extra skins, make an Arene legendary. If you want a good story, just make Chuka and Chomp a lot. If you want to see content that you cannot see any other way, that's the way I would do it. If you care about the lore, etc., that's my best bet. My best thing. Thinking sword, staff, and great sword, but now weapon proliferation. Easy for me to say. Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky that I've done my grind on the weapons. You know, like I say, I've got the longbow left, and then I'm done. And I've got very few characters that use longbow, though I found myself wanting one yesterday. Yeah. Is that stump still over here? I hope so. Let's grab this. My thing would be staff. I use staff on a lot of different builds, and I think it's got a lot of flexibility. I think Great Sword is good. I made Exordium just because it's freaking pretty and such. Staff is still in my thinking when I adored my Mirage. Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you've still got your Mirage and you've still got the two ascended staffs, then you're just fine, right? You'd still need one. The other thing to consider is you can always farm Khalid Bogs, right? So when it comes to scepter, sword, great sword, what else can the Khalid Bog become? It's got like 5 or 6 different forms. I've used that Khalid Bog as like a ghetto legendary on a lot of characters before I had the legendaries to speak of. And if you don't know what the Khalid Bog is, when you finish Heart of Thorns, you get a quest, which is a really interesting quest actually. But it's a whole series. It takes about an afternoon to do. The first time may take you 2 because there's a bunch of collections to do the first time you do it. And then afterwards, you can continue doing this quest and farm up extra versions of this weapon. But the weapon is not only stat selectable, but it's form changeable. So for 1,000 Unbound Magic, you can change the form of the Ascended weapon and the stats at any given point. And I used that on a lot of tunes. Specifically those needing any of the weapons involved there, because you can make multiple Khalid Bogs, right? You can make as many Khalid Bogs as you want. So that was one of the things I considered as I was going through the list while I was making the legendary weapons, is that you can save a fair bit of time and effort if you're playing with those Calibogs. So, but you can't make a staff with it, so that's that. This heart, I do these repeatable hearts every once in a while just because it's easy farming, to be honest with you. And, you know, I don't mind Ember Bay. Ember Bay was one of the better maps. Certainly better than that new map, anyway. Which I, again, did not enjoy. It's really a shame. Really a shame. And I guess the last thing to touch on is that beta today. Because that beta today is actually... I'm really stoked for it. So this idea that we're going to unlock... the elite spec weapon for other specifications is really cool. A lot of work for the developers in the case of things like Elementalist, etc. So good news that they're taking the time to do that. Because when I think about what Hammer has to look like on, you know, Tempest, or what Hammer has to look like on Weaver, it's a lot of work for the devs. It is. So I'm actually glad that they're going in and actually hopefully doing it right. I'm sure they'll do that part good. Short Bond Rev, as I mentioned earlier. Warhorn on Weaver, I'm actually really interested in playing with. I'm interested in playing with Staff on Deadeye. I think that would be really cool. One thing that is appealing to me about the Relic system is that I'm a big fan of the 6th rank minion summons on ogres, etc. So now I can give my Condi tunes a rock dog. Yes, that I'm iffy on those summon ones. I get that a lot of people like them for taking aggro, etc. I'm of the opinion, really, that only works on ranged builds fairly well. I think that, and even then, you know, if you know me, I'm not a minion guy. I'm not a minion guy because they're training wheeled as aggro. Yeah, and there's, you know, that's not invalid. That's not invalid. I think that that's a really good point, and that there are people that will really enjoy that. My concern about the system, my biggest concern about the system, other than the way that it, you know, they may just rat fuck me out of my legendaries. My real concern about the system is that it gives them the excuse to create more and more powerful summons. You know, like first you're doing those privateer runes and getting your parrot, and the next thing you know, you're summoning a wyvern, and then it starts escalating because there's no guarantee that they're not going to use this to power creep the game even further than it's been power crept. And the game has been absurdly power crept since End of Dragons. Absurdly. Yeah, and the tiering on the J-Bot cores, which, yeah, I mean, I haven't even played with that system. I found it so obnoxious. I found the J-Bot system to be so obnoxious that I noped out of it almost immediately. I think I have 2 tunes with any real Jadebot stuff on them, to be honest with you. To me, Jadebot was like the thing you have to click before you click stuff. That really is what Jadebot meant in my world. You know? 10 tiers, and is there gonna be a progression system? And is that progression system gonna be in the gem store? And you know, this game has always been really good about that stuff, but this game has sold some of its soul over the last 5 or 6 years, you know? And I recognize that, you know, some of that selling was needed to be viable financially, but the game really has, again, I'll just say it, you know, particularly over the last 3 or 4 years, really abandoned some of the stuff that I was super happy about. and the things that kept me playing it as an MMO. The things that they have done though are really just standard MMO stuff, and so it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's good for the game, to be honest with you. May not be good for me, as much as I may or may not enjoy these things. Um, I don't mind long-term goals. I'm tired of long-term goals that are always, how many stacks of T6 blood can you farm up, which is really what a lot of that. Holy shit, your damage, Caddy. Wow, that was crazy. Um, that really is it. Like, if I lose the functionality of my legendary runes and have to go in and farm up yet another stack of T6 bloods to restore that kind of functionality, I'm done. I really am. I'm just done. Like, a friend of mine asked me to start playing Mortal Online, and if you've ever seen Mortal Online, it's a sandbox where you have to even level up your run. So when you start off the game, you move painfully slow, and you have to level up your walk and run speeds. And this all just felt awful to me as I was just trying to play it. And I'm still just trying to get into it. But it just speaks to everything I'm kind of done with in gaming. And for Ain't It to, I don't know, to take that functionality away is awful. Beta, does the beta start in 11 minutes? We are, the Finch, I actually don't know if anybody actually answered that. We were wondering about it earlier, and of course, opening another browser window could have been possible, but I guess we'll hang out here and find out. That would probably be the easiest. I think I actually finished this heart. I think I can go and collect my stumps. Then maybe, then what? I don't know. So yeah, I guess anybody could have answered it, but we're all too flippin' lazy because, internet. I suppose I will do that for you guys right now. Let's take a look at the beta. The Mortal Online devs are working on another sandbox MMO and said somehow connected to the online universe because that makes total sense. Are you for real, John? Jean? Wow. Okay, well, let me tell you something. The first thing that hit me about Mortal Online was that my friend who wanted me to play it bought it for me. So this purchase game for $45, you launch it for the first time and it says, oh, hey, by the way, we know you just paid for this game, but we may start charging you a subscription fee at any point. And I'm like, really? Are you fucking kidding me? So you want to, on your little sandbox MMO that barely has 10,000 players, want to just say that, oh, hey, we just may spring a subscription fee on you at some point. Just mind-blowing. Speaking of sandbox MMOs in space, I tried playing, oh my god, what is the name of that one by Cloud Imperium? The long-term scam one. The one where they're selling ships, but you still can't play the game. I tried playing that. I'm a Star Citizen. Sorry, I tried to play Star Citizen, and Star Citizen would not even load on my computer. Oh, there we go. When is 9 a.m. Pacific? 9 a.m. Pacific is in 7 minutes, so I guess we'll find that out here in a moment. That is pretty crazy to me, Jean. I was not effing impressed. Yeah, the flinch. I saw that. However, think about Doror. Before Legendary Armory, the guy had... Yeah. Flinch, I was talking about that earlier. There was a problem with Ruby's post to me, and that's that she used the word compensation, which to me says that the functionality will be permanently lost, and we need to be compensated for it. If we weren't going to be getting the same functionality, I'm not sure that the word compensation would have been used. It would have been saying, hey, we're exploring ways or just finalizing ways to restore the functionality for those of you who have invested in these things. What they used was the word compensation. So the question then becomes, what is the compensation? And before I lose my shit, I will find out what that compensation is. And if that compensation doesn't allow me to quickly restore this functionality, then I will rethink my commitment to this game, to be honest with you. Yeah, and I think yeah, the flinch. We were talking about that earlier because what they gave him was Caddy. Compensation will be 10 transmutes and a revive orb, or two Black Lion boosters and some birthday gifts. Yeah, that was my last Black Lion. You're not allowed to complain. Yeah, you see, you guys get what I'm saying. The word compensation bothered me. That said, I'm not gonna lose my shit. I lost my shit yesterday about it. I lost my shit the day before about it. But it will make me question what I am actually doing in this game. Because as I've been actually clear, I've been enjoying a lot of other games lately. I've been playing single player games and actively loving the experience of some of them. So, you know, it's really going to make me think. It's really going to make me think. Hey, if I could use that gun. World versus world. Oh, world versus world. That is, it's funny, Caddy, that you bring up world versus world because there was a time when ANET could do no wrong to me, and the first place where I started losing faith in ArenaNet was how they said they were working on changes to world versus world, dropped working on those changes to world versus world, and did not tell us for what, like 2.5 years they were not developing these things that they said they were developing in the first place, completely dropped it all, and then came back later and said, oh yeah, we're working on this again. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Like, some of us were actively waiting for this alliance system, and we're being pretty patient about it. Yeah, alliance is coming 2030, and I think that that's a really good. That is where I started to lose my smile for ArenaNet, was right there, because they set an expectation, did not follow through on that expectation, did not communicate. If they have said, look, at this point we're not actually going to do this anymore, or if they had said pretty much anything else, if they'd said anything, I'd have been a lot happier. But then to find out that they weren't actually working on it when they had left the impression with us, particularly those of us who actively enjoy world versus world, that is where it started going south for me. That is absolutely where it started going south for me. Because communicating with your players, even bad news, is way preferable to keeping your players thinking that you're working on something that you aren't. Yeah, and Caddy, you still love World versus World, and I'm, as love-hate about the whole thing as I ever was. So 3 minutes maybe until this starts. We'll find out what happens here with this beta. So yeah, that really was, I appreciate the increased communication, but that communication was really like 2.5 years too late. 2.5 years too late. Just crazy. I mean, I'm getting the timing wrong, and I'm probably being a little bit hyperbolic, but that really is the beginning of my discontent with Guild Wars 2. Which clearly I'm still playing the living shit out of, so I mean, I can complain as much as I want, right? Did that guy just appear there? Let's watch him. Does he actually leave? Oh, wasn't that cute? Wow. Well, for those of you guys wondering what a hacker looks like, right there. That's kind of shitty. All right. On with our day. You know, the fact that there are still gathering bots in this game really kind of shitty. Anyways, let's go find some ruby stumps and stuff, because that's just more fun than worrying about it. One of the biggest drawbacks of the beta is it will be really hard to see how I like the weapon aspect on professions that are still topsy-turvy from the patch. Yeah, but the other side is I think the point about like the new weapons and stuff like that is that it opens up more options, so it's kind of an excuse to kind of start from zero and take a look at those things. And a good example of that may be like Weaver. You know, do I play it for Condi or Power with the Warhorn? Things like that. I think it's more about the exploration of it, and like I say, we won't see anything out of the proliferation. But you know, to say, well, you know, I've got a Celestial Rev running the old short bow Alacrity, a Renegade, and now I just want to try playing the short bow on Condi Herald. I don't think that's that's going to be too hard to do, but we'll see here in a few moments. 9 o'clock. So let's see. It is 9 a.m. Let us see if this is in fact in play here. Let's go back to our little home. And we'll check it out for a few minutes, and then I'm just going to wrap up the stream because I got some things to do tonight. I just wanted to kind of touch base with y'all. Onwards. Okay, so I am going to go to the screen for a moment. I won't make you watch for 10 minutes, and I'm just going to restart the game and see if anything has changed. Because what the hell? And I gotta say, one of the cool things they did in one of those recent patches was get you to the character select quicker. And it's really impressive how much quicker it is, particularly if you're loading off an SSD. It's absolutely noticeable. So here we go. Oh, it's live, kids. It's live. Here we go. So my chat box is over it, but I have 3 beta slots to play with here. Double click to... if you guys are getting into this and taking a look at it here... these beta slots, if you pick a name for it, they're going to be kind of like locked, so don't pick a name that you're going to want to use again. So I'm going to start a new character who will be Asura, and I will... Oh, I'm not sure I can look like this. Wait a second. Okay, Asura. I like the female Asura voice. What do we want to do here? So let's take a look at Elementalist, because that's kind of my jam. I guess that's good enough. Let's color the hair though. Hair color. There we go. All right, we'll do that. We will not spend too much time fashioning this up, except for, oh yeah, no, that'll work. All right, that'll work. And now we will skip to the end. And signed Testy McTest. Let's see. The name Testy McTest is already in use, I guess. Mind versus machine. There we go. So, progress and rewards earned by beta characters will not be saved. All right. Well, welcome to the beta. Wow. Everybody's in Kessex. Cool. So, I guess we're now showing that we're beta characters. That's kind of a cool little option. All right. So, what do we have here in our mail? Mysteries are afoot. Restoring the gate grid at Eye of the North. What is this even? I'll take a look at that later. I don't even know what that is. Okay. Oh, wow. They gave us legendary bag space here. Check that out. That's crazy. Some transmutes. Turtle mount unlock. Mystic salvage kits. Okay, what is this? A stone eye. Oh, that's just from character creation. Demo gearbox. Use. What is it all? Celestial? With runes of the Dalyak. What do we have here? Oh, wait, is the new... No, it isn't. Is this stat selectable? Well, good job, ain't it? They actually gave us stat selectable gear instead of just giving us celestial. Good job, Anet. All right. Unfortunately, they're all 4 sigils. And the trinkets are all celestial, but the armor is stat selectable. And so are the weapons. So that'll be okay. All right. So, cool. For all that loot you won't be able to keep, right? But yeah, you know, if you've effed with this, you've got the consumables as well. So if you use this, you've got full sets of all these runes. So the first thing this actually does, and you've got some, you know, second best in slot foods and stuff like that. So good for them for making the gear stat selectable this time. The trinkets, kind of bad news. Feels bad, man. But I guess I have a couple legendaries, so I won't worry about it. All right. So let's put some gear on. Oh, wait a second. Did I already have gear on? Is it already stat selectable? No, it sets you with the Selly gear. Okay, well that's interesting. Okay, so we'll just roll with the Selly gear. What the hell? We will get rid of those strength runes though. Okay, so here we have it. And it set me up with a catalyst build, but let's go in. So does this have to be unlocked somehow, or can we just make a catalyst with a warhorn? Let's go and take a look. There's a warhorn. There is a sword. Oops, that's a dagger. Do we have a sword? Oh, I'm going to rock those pearl weapons. Okay, so we have a sword and a warhorn. And what happens? We are on Catalyst already, so it's already all unlocked, I guess. So that's interesting. That's cool. So now I can be a sword warhorn catalyst. All right. Interesting. So we've got the ability to play out with all of this right away. Good job, Anet. All right. Good job, Anet. Sorry I complained about you so much over the last hour. No, I'm totally not. But so if I rock this as... What do I got here? Sets me up with 3 build slots. That's kind of cool. Does it set me up with another equipment slot? It does. Okay. So what would happen if I made a weaver that had... So we've got sword, warhorn, weaver. So let's go dual attack skills. Let's just, for the sake of argument, let's roll it that way. Okay, just for the sake of argument, we won't mess around with this too much. So would be cool if we could make the utilities go across. Hey, Annette, what do you think? What do you think? Let me use those Tempest utilities. Ooh, that would be cool. All right, let's do that. Let's do... what else here? Twist of Fate, maybe? Twist of Fate as our stun break. We'll get Twist of Fate as our stun break. Put that down, and that. And what do we want here? Probably that. Okay, so then the next thing we will do is make an actual build out of this. So we will go with fire and earth. Just do our tried and true written in stone. Did they change written in stone? No, they didn't. Oh, gain an aura when using a signet skill. That's actually could be interesting. Okay. Rock solid. No, let's go with strength of stone. And let's go with bliss rated stones. Let's go with burning precision, burning rage, and pyromancer's puissance. All right, there we have it. So we have the beginnings of a build. What kind of runes will we use on our Selly gear here? We will probably use... What kind of runes did it give us? Did it give us any good Condi runes? Bloodlust, Corruption, Perception, Geomancy, Energy, Bursting Sigils. These are sigils. What kind of runes did it give us? I have legendary runes. Why am I even worried about this? All right. So let's go in and customize. Doesn't let me use my legendary runes? What? Are you kidding me? Oh, there we go. Never mind. Okay, so let's... Do I have to? I guess I have to do these one at a time, don't I? So equipment. Come in there. Upgrade. I gotta do this there. Upgrade. Oh, I see. It's been a while since I've done this. We'll just put these on for the moment. And then we will pick some runes. It's almost like I remember how to play this game. Top tier gameplay right here for you. All right, so then we will put this one in here, upgrade, because we have to pick one for the moment. Altruism. This is a little bit painful, isn't it? Oh, and then we'll just set all these for like nightmare runes or something in a moment. Which I suppose I could be doing right now, but whatever. We'll do an antitoxin rune here. Okay, so what are we at? 2 more. Upgrade. This is painful. There's probably a better way to do this that I'm just not realizing because I'm so out of practice with this game. All right. I say that, but I'm playing a couple hours a day. There we go. All right, so the next thing that we will do is we will customize our runes. We'll set ourselves in some nightmare runes. Oops. Did that wrong again. Let's try this one more time, shall we? Oh, yeah, I managed to remove it. Yeah, let's do that, shall we? Good grief. Okay. Except, how many do I have? 4 of 6 and this one. So I managed to actually take my runes out because I'm so good at Guild Wars. Let's do this, this. All right. Customize. Hit this, search for nightmare. It's almost like I know how to play this game. There we have it. We have managed to set our runes. All right, so we are in Selly gear with nightmare runes. I guess I should probably put a bursting sigil in or something. In customize. Nope. Can I just click on this and force fire? Air bursting, and we will use a sigil of fire. What the hell? And then we will put some stats on this, and we'll just go full Selly, and we will go and test it out. Engineer Caddy, fully legendary Caddy. There she is. All right, so can we go and beat up the giant and cursed shore and see how it goes? So let us go. That's totally the wrong waypoint, but we will live. Hammer Tempest, so glad to have you back on YouTube. Thank you very much, Benjamin. Hammer Tempest is an interesting idea. I am stoked for Warhorn Weaver, personally, Dark Knight. You have an equipped item that does not have any stats on it. What did I not equip stats on? Oh, look at that. Cheeky monkey. Cheeky monkey. All right. There we go. Oh. And my Warclaw is my default mount. That'll do. All right. Does it actually? Wow! I just realized it gives your beta characters a 100% world complete. That's actually very cool. Good job, Annette. Good job. All right. So we're just gonna roll over here and do a couple of quick tests, and then I will end the stream and let you get on with your days, because you can log in and try this too. All right, there's our giant. We knew he'd be here. We will wait for Caddy. I'm sure Caddy is playing Hammer Hollowsmith. You have a movie to go to. What movies are playing? Don't wait for me. Okay, I will not wait for you, Caddy. Here we go. Okay. Wow, it's been forever since I played Weaver. I should probably play it with Dagger. That is really interesting. So it all works, guys. Some interesting things to try out. I'm sure all of you will be really stoked for Pistol Scourge. Yeah, Pistol Scourge should be great. So there it goes. So easily without thinking about it, we're doing all right here. We're just effing about. Probably going to take a few too many hits because I'm not just playing this right, because I'm too busy working. Great Sword Harbinger. There you go. See, now we're thinking outside the axe. There we go. Managed to just camp that stomp one too many times there, but I think we'll probably just put a stop to it at this point. Oh, Caddy coming in with the big save. Clear the trash mobs for me, Caddy Wampus. Because I did that thing that elementalists do, which is let you res me and then effed you over for it. So I guess we got a lot of possibilities here. I'm not exactly playing this well, but I think we're doing okay. Hold my hand, Caddy. I'm a stranger in paradise. Oh, no. Oh, look at those heals. Look at those heals on Selly Weaver. All right. Sold. This could be actually a lot of fun if we play with it. Probably work on some combos. Maybe work on some of the... Oh, and the CC from the Warhorn too, which means absolutely nothing against this boss, but so be it. Huh. Well, the dream is real for some of us. I think that should be kind of cool. I'm not playing super hard here, but I'm enjoying the idea of it more than anything else at this point. Yeah, Pistol Scourge. It's incoming, my friends. Pistol Scourge. Oh, the Indiana Jones previews today. Holy shit. I'm like so stoked for that Indiana Jones movie too. That is interesting. My problem with Weaver was always the offhand, because you play Tempest and you're like, ooh, that barrier just soaked up that stomp really nicely. That's not bad. I can see a lot of potential for fun in this, and I think we know what I'm doing all weekend, other than playing Mass Effect 2, is probably doing this. And if I come up with anything, I will let you guys know. I'll put it either on the Discord or put a short video together, but we'll make it happen. So I am going to leave it at there, my friends. Still a lot of build and gear slot tokens. Not me. Before you buy those build and gear slot tokens, folks, remember that it's always a better deal to buy a character slot. Always a better deal to buy a character slot. So, hey, thanks all of you guys for showing up. Gale, Dark Knight, Jungle, Jungulu, sorry, Caddy, Epsy, Benjamin. Just glad you guys all kind of showed up here today. And hopefully this will stoke me to get some stuff done. Don't expect any build videos before the end of August, because everything changes at that point, but we'll see what happens. All right. Yes, Science Weekend. This is absolutely Science Weekend. I will say, hey, guys, have fun in game. That's about it. Hit me up if you want to talk. Mind Circus 1506. And that is it. Later, bud.